Hi, Camila. How's it going today?
Good, good. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I got some questions for you, so let's just jump right into this. We see Angela wearing the Jade Tiger amulets, and fans were very happy to see her get those and in the box after her uncle was killed or murdered in the first season. What was your reaction to seeing the physical costume design for the first time, and how did the suit influence your performance?
Well, it influenced me in the sense it kind of like looked very like military-esque with like the combat boots and the sort of, you know, very like gray and toned down sort of colors. So for me, it changed like when I put on the costume, I definitely felt like I had to be like the most toughest person in the room and the most like strongest person in the room. And so seeing that and just being introduced to it for the first time, I was super like emotional and seeing that like, wow, this is sort of different from anything like we've ever seen, like in the White Tiger comics, and just taking on that and seeing how like that affects Angela, especially with her powers. It's sort of like, wow, she's kind of like having her own thing and just, taking up space in that environment.
Awesome. Now, how would you describe Angela's personal philosophy compared to, let's say, Matt Murdock's? Do you think they see eye to eye on how to handle crime in the streets of New York, or do you think would there be friction in how they worked and how they handle things?
I think that Matt Murdock slash, Daredevil he's kind of like loosening up, his morals this season. So I feel like Angela seeing that and seeing like the Daredevil that she used to know in season one and seeing like how he's kind of like spiraling a bit. And so I feel like at this moment, they're seeing less eye to eye in things. Like he's letting this violence sort of happen and not seeing, this is affecting people in, Angela's communities and the whole community of New York, and just like saying like we need to fight for the people, not what's like, saving Bullseye or saving like this person. Like just remember that this is about the people and that people are getting hurt and we need to stop that from happening.
Awesome. Now, spoiler ahead, this is probably air like after this episode airs, so we get to finally see Angela, White Tiger in action, and she gets to team up with Jessica and Daredevil in a very gripping scene. What was that moment like for you when seeing and finally seeing it in action too?
Yeah, well, I got to see it, little by little bit, like even on like set after I shot that scene, like how it was coming together. And my wonderful stunt double, Ashley Kim Garcia, she did like a lot of those, fighting parts. I jumped in definitely for like a few little moments, but shooting that, it was very liberating, I have to say. Like I definitely that spot where I was punching like the officer in the face. It was that was so liberating, especially for Angela with all that she's gone through. It's such a like cathartic moment for her. And I was so happy when we shot that scene.
So, what was the training like for you? I mean, you do have a stunt double, but was there any like physical training that you had to, do to prepare for the scene or prepare for the role?
No, yes, I definitely did have to do like some physical movement. Like we had like stunt training where I got to practice like taking out the gun and all that stuff and like kneeing someone in the face, but not, totally. And I also got to do like practice like how to smash someone's head in the wall, but not really. That was very impactful. But at the same time, I also did my own physicality training as an actor, like definitely being a little bit more fit and ready to go, and as well, incorporating that animal-esque white tiger into Angela. Like I definitely studied like tigers and how they moved and sort of brought that to my performance and see how that would affect like the way that I moved, the way that I talked, and how I just like came across in every scene.
Awesome. Now, you once did some marketing for Spider-Man No Way Home. early in your career, and now you're playing a superhero who actually protects the same New York streets as Spider-Man. Would you consider this a full circle moment for your career?
Oh my gosh, I keep thinking about that moment because I have to say that I have to get it clear right then and here. I saw the
Oh,
trailer for like Spider-Man No Way Home on like the marketing thing, and I
hmm
have to say I have to say I was the one that predicted Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were going to be in that thing. And everyone and all those people in the marketing were looking at me like, hmm. And they cut that part out when I said like all of them three are gonna be in the movie. But but yeah, that I keep on thinking about that moment because I never thought that that girl that I was like, doing that marketing, doing that like little commercial would then like jump into actually be part of the universe and, maybe have sort of an interaction with Spider-Man as his character, you never know. But but it's still impactful for me because I was like, wow, if only she knew. If only she knew.
Right, that's so cool. Um, but yeah, now that you're officially part of the MCU, what is it like being a part of this massive comic book movie franchise, a machine? And how hard is it being a part of something where you can't really disclose any details until a finished product arrives?
Yeah, well, I am also kind of like I don't know everything as well. When I get my scenes, I only get my scenes. I never get like a full script. I can never read like anything, and especially I found out who my character was like 3 days like before
Wow.
went to New York on season 1. And so it was kind of like even sort of secretive for me. Like I didn't totally know what was like completely going on, but like keeping the secrets, it was like sort of easy for me because like at the same time I had like nothing truly to reveal except the white tiger thing, but it's kind of complicated, to explain to someone who like doesn't know what's going on. But being a part of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's very calming in a sense. I At the first time I was like, very overwhelmed, but now it's sort of like the Marvel people that I've been able to work with have been so comforting and so nice, and they definitely feel like family rather than, someone I should be intimidated by. So it's been a great experience overall.
So, and I'm gonna let you go off this last question. You know, where do you hope Angela ends up? There's fans are like whispering the Young Avengers and other things like that. Do you think that's a possibility? Who would you like to see Angela team up with if she had the opportunity to?
Well, I can't, confirm or deny like the Young Avengers thing,
Mhm.
but where I would like to see, Angela, I would definitely like to see her team up with Florence Pugh's character or something like a little bit like that. But I don't know. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny that. But but I really just hope that, wherever Angela ends up, it's still authentic and truthful in what we've sort of brought along with season 1 and season 2 with like her pain and her grief and sort of like the raw emotion that we've been bringing ever since those seasons. And keep that and still be grounded in that wherever Angela ends up in whichever, universe or world. I just hope we can stay grounded in that.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time. You did very good in the show. And hopefully get to see more of you going forward.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.